What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel, check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on an article that I ran across, and it was about Shaquille O'Neal, right? And Shaquille O'Neal he checks on Kobe Bryant's mother, Pamela Bryant, every month. And which I thought, I think it's very cool, and it's commendable for Shaquille to do that. You know, Shaquille, as you all know, that like Shaquille O'Neal and his relationship with Kobe Bryant, they had their ups and downs, and at certain points in time, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant didn't always get along. But I think after their careers was over with, and Kobe and Shaq got to sit down and talk and hash things out, I thought they were in a good space, right? And Kobe Bryant himself didn't really have, like, at times I think he probably had a he was at odds sometime with his parents, you know. And I don't know if at the time of his passing, like what their relationship was like, but as a parent, as a mother, especially, you don't want to I'm sorry, excuse me. You never want your kid to pass before you. And so to lose her son and her husband, Pamela Bryant, that gotta be a lot. That's a tough position to be in. You lose your soulmate, then you lose your only son. That's a lot. And so I just think that this is a cool article. I don't know who wrote this article. I thought it was a cool article. It's in. Let me see. This is People Magazine. Somebody named Natasha Dye. She's the one who wrote it, right? And the article says Shaquille O'Neal checks on Kobe Bryant's mom, Pam, once a month. Quote: I just try to make her smile, right? And like I said, I just think this is so cool and commendable for Shaq to do this, knowing that, like what this lady has been through in the last few years. And it goes on to say Shaquille O'Neal tells people he checks in with Kobe Bryant's mother, Pamela, once a month, make sure she's okay. The former Lakers star reflects on how Kobe Bryant's mother, has been through a lot in a couple of years and how it takes a toll. Yeah, like I said, I mean, definitely something like this would, to take a toll. Like I said, she lost her soulmate and her husband, and then, her only son. That, and Kobe, that's their pride and joy. Kobe, you could tell that Kobe was their pride and joy. Bryant's former teammate says that he sends flowers to Pamela to try to make her smile. Let me see. The 53-year-old retired basketball star who won 3 championships with Bryant over 8 seasons together on the Lakers tells people, I always check in with Kobe's mom. I check in on his mom once a month to make sure she's okay. And excuse me. Now Shaq, this is not something that's, a lot of people say that Shaq is always, he's always been a generous, down to earth, cool, fun loving guy. So this is not something for Shaq that is it's for something that's for Shaq that's not really it's not out of the norm for Shaq. Basically, people always see Shaq as somebody who is a very generous and kind-hearted person. So I just think that this, like I said, is a cool article. And what else? It goes on to say O'Neal says that Bryant used to check in on my mom and dad, before his death in January of 2020. And he's humbled to do the same thing for Bryant's family. They lived in Vegas. I'm in Vegas. I'm close to his sisters. I just call and check on them. He says Sierra, 48, and Shia. Wait a minute. Shara, who's 49, and Shea, who's 48. right? And let me see. Which I think is good. I just think that's cool, man. Um, because you don't want to. Because I don't know how close like they are to Kobe's kids, as aunts, and then the grandmother, but still, you as siblings and family, you still want to be included in your people's life, right? And so this right here, even though Shaq is not family, but still it's just let them know that somebody cares, somebody is thinking about them. It's not just about Vanessa and the daughters that, it's about Kobe's sisters and his mother. They still, they played a big part in Kobe's life. So yeah, not to freeze them out or anything, but to make them apart. Let me see. Their mom has been through a lot in a couple years, and that takes its toll. And sometimes you just need somebody just to call and check in on you. O'Neal explains. I kind of know what it feels like when the passing, with the passing of her son, but I don't know how it feels like to lose a son and a husband. So I'm sure she has a lot of pain that she's dealing with. He adds, referring to the death of Kobe Bryant's father in 2024. Okay, so yeah, so Joe Jellybean Bryant passed in 2024, and everybody know that Kobe he passed in 2022. So that that just man that yeah, I know that this lady really is dealing with a lot, and his two sisters too. They dealing with a lot too. You never expect somebody to leave you tragically like that. In one of those in a helicopter accident. That's just terrible, man. Like I said, Shaq is the kind of person. I mean, everybody, a lot of people like Shaq. Everybody, think that he's a generous and giving person, just like a gentle giant. Especially if if you don't do nothing to piss him off, then he's a gentle giant, man. And yeah, I just thought that was cool. Let me see what else it says. Other things shouldn't have been more important, but little things got in the way. You put off getting in touch. He continued. I'll never get to see Kobe again in real life forever. And I just should have called. He should have called. We both should have called, but he's working, I'm working. So it's all you see, so it's all you see when I see him. Reflecting on that, O'Neal advised readers call your mom, call your brother, call your homeboy, you used to party with in college. Forever is a long time. And that's true, man. Sometimes like when people get caught up, sometimes when you don't get to see the people that are close to you, and you say something like, life is just been life, and you get caught up in the everyday struggles of life, the everyday routines of life, and you don't know. It's good to call your mother and your father and your siblings and just check in on them and let them know you're thinking about them, let them know you care. See if they good. That I just think that bond that they have, you just want to always continuously just reinforce that bond that you had. And I know that Kobe parents was proud of him. Like I said, they didn't always see eye to eye, but that's just part of being family. Sometimes family fall out. But the sad part is you don't want to fall out or get to the point where something tragic happened and then you'll have regrets. But I think deep down both sides, like Kobe knew and his parents knew that they always loved each other. But like I said, you don't want to get to the point where, because then you'll start to have doubts or stuff like that will bother you. Like if y'all not on good speaking terms when somebody leaves, then that'll haunt you. But you know, Shaq, I think it's good advice. Shaq said, call and check up on your people. You know, that's all I could say, man. That's the way to be. But I thought this was a cool article with Shaq checking up on Kobe's mom, and like he said, Kobe checked up on Shaq's people. So you know, even though they didn't always see eye to eye for a certain period of their career, they still, they had that mutual respect and that love for each other. Whereas though they, it didn't spill off the court. They just look out for each other. So yeah, this was a cool article. That's all I had to say on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.